William James was a famous philosopher of the last century, and he was born in, I believe, 1842 and died in 1910. But he became very famous, and he was one of those who had a very troubled childhood. He had a very domineering father who would insist that he not pursue philosophy and studies of psychology or anything like that. And he was very domineering, and he had a big hold over William. And William went into a very deep depression for a number of years because of his father. And about 3.5 years into this major depression, he questioned his own life and his own value of living. But then in a light bulb moment, he had an epiphany. And the epiphany was about truth and free will. So William James came to be known for the two observed truths. And according to James, the two observed truths are, number one, the truths of the observer. The truth that when you see the world, like you see the sun and the moon, and you find out what they are. We used to think the earth was flat and that the earth was flat. We now know it's not. We used to think that stars were just points of light where the gods would look in to view us. But through observation and the development of things like telescopes, we know those are no longer true convictions. So you accept those and you move on, whether they're flattering or not. But then there's the other type of truth, which is the inward truth. And these are truths of will. And so William James came to talk about and be known for free will. And he said that he could never decide if there was free will or not. So the epiphany for him was, if all things being equal, there are arguments on every side, why not choose the thing you want to believe? So in the case of free will, he said, I'm going to create free will. I'm going to become a proponent of free will, because since I don't know any better, why not believe that? And he contrasted that with the truth of the observer, where the world and observation did the key for you. So the lesson for us is, if you're not observing something and you don't have empirical evidence to the contrary, you default to what is, to you, more wholesome and better to believe. Apply this to your own journey of willpower and self-control and the betterment of your mind and body through fasting. Too many people write me and they say the same thing. They say, I know I'm supposed to eat properly and eat once, not eat too much. I know I'm not supposed to go out and drive around and look for stuff to binge on, but I do it anyway. And the implication is this same sort of nonsense. Oh, I'm hungry, but I don't know what for. You ever had that? You ever had one of those moments where you say, I'm hungry, I don't know what for. Nothing tastes good to me anymore. Or nothing tastes good to me right now. When you're in those moments, this truth applies. When the decision is not made clear, choose the option that is more wholesome. Choose the option that is better. If you already know that chicken and pizza and Chinese food and tacos and eating multiple times a day and eating sugar and dairy are horrible things, why, all things being equal, would you choose that? Why wouldn't you instead develop the motivation to put those things off? And to say, instead, I'm going to be known for not eating. This was my story. This was what started this channel. I realized I could eat forever. I could stroke out. I could die. I would definitely enjoy the food I would be eating. I loved binging. I loved eating whole cakes, whole pans, whole standard-sized pans of cakes, usually in one setting, if not almost. That's like, what, 3 cups of sugar right there? I knew that I could have justified going on living and saying, what the hell, screw everybody. This is the way I want to live. But facing death, facing an unhappy life, facing all of the variables, I chose to say, I'm going to strike a happy medium. And I'm going to pay my hunger debt, and I'm not going to owe my body anything else. And that goes back to the cardinal principle. But when you're in doubt, the way to create willpower is to look and choose the wholesome option. The thing that you know is also true. Oh, I know it's bad for me, but I don't know why I don't have enough motivation to do it. Well, the reason you don't have enough motivation to do it is because you've chosen not to look at it that way. There are some things that are not true for you if you don't want them to be. If you get up in the morning and you don't want to be a writer, you're not going to be a writer. If you get up in the morning and you don't want to be a great biologist or a scientist or a football player or a runner, you're not going to be any of those things because they are defined by an outgrowth of your identity. So place your identity in the position of, here is what I want to be. I want to improve my health. I want to improve my level of self-control. But I also know that I love all the things I'm addicted to. You've made peace with that. You've made peace with the fact that you know you love your addictions. Now make peace with the fact that you love the way toward enlightenment, the way toward self-control, which is, in the final analysis, a much better deal. Or you don't, in which case you're choosing to follow your addictions. You see, the reason this is so bad, addiction is so bad, is because you choose it. It's a hell that you create when you go and you decide, you start to covet over an automobile, let's say, and you say, I want the blue car, I want the red car. Now you're in car hell because you're fighting between, should I get the red one? It looks so sparky. Should I get the blue one? It looks so conservative. I can see both in my driveway. When my mood changes, my preference changes. Now you're in car hell. That comes from coveting. That comes from wanting. If you say, well, I don't really care. I don't have to have a red or a blue. I have to have something. Maybe it doesn't even have to have AC, or maybe it just has to have AC. Maybe it just has to have AC, automatic, and cruise control, and maybe it should just have maybe a 4-cylinder. Maybe it doesn't even need to be a new car. Maybe it can be 4 or 5 years old or 8 years old. Where does the competition start? And once the competition starts, are you willing to choose the option that is a better option? The one that does not involve lust, the one that does not involve coveting. Think about all the items in your life that you use more than any of the other. I can tell you, for me, here they are. Toilet paper, no designer toilet paper. I buy what is available, as long as it's unscented. And the biggest bundle I can get, because nobody likes not having toilet paper. I don't care who you are. That little thing that pops off bottles. You have one little magnet on your fridge. What else? That little pasta catcher that goes in your drain, in your sink, so that when you dump out stuff, you don't get food particles lodged in your disposer. Now, what's my point? My point is, those are things you use all the time, but you don't covet over. When's the last time you coveted over your water hose or your hoe or your lawnmower? No, you probably just bought it and put it away, and you use it when you need it. That's how you're supposed to think about your food. Light bulb moment. Big realization there. So that's what William James means when he talks about choosing the wholesome option, choosing the better option. Why would you choose something, all things being equal, that is a deficit to you? Why would you choose something that is hurtful? Why would you choose to lose your teeth and your health over crack or any hard drug, much more or much less food, which is going to come in you, and as soon as it goes in your mouth, you don't want it anymore. You want to pass it out of you because despite how much we idolize it, it's really not to be loved. It's a source of nourishment and nothing more. So, when you don't know better, learn better. Understand that you possess the power to make real what it is that you want. And once you internalize this, you can walk away from the self-created hells. And that's the way it is. If you want to understand hell, you understand it right there. It's not a place of fire. It's not a place of soot or sulfur. Or it's a place here. And it's created by your actions. And sometimes by your lack of actions. It's created by the focus that you've chosen to put on things. Let me ask you something. Why today, if food is all the same and you can't decide what you want, why don't you go in there and pop open a can of navy beans and maybe a hot dog and have that for your meal? Why don't you go in there right now and have a chicken patty or make some rice and something else? You have food in your fridge right now. Why did you go out to eat today? Never mind being a holiday. You can stay home on the holidays. You can spend your July 4th grilling burgers and the same way you can any other day. The answer is you're not being honest in your pursuits. And you're really creating more of the same thing that you did in the past. And regardless of what in your life you're complaining about, whether it's lack of money or lack of a good career or lack of health, nearly all of that, if not all of it, is from your actions. It's from the fact that if you really wanted to start a business, you'd have done that years ago, but you didn't. If you really wanted to lose weight, you'd have done that when you first found this channel, but you didn't. You decided that it's a cool video, it's a cool idea, it's a cool concept, OMAD, but you're really not going to follow through with it because it's much nicer to go out and drink with your friends. You've chosen something. You see where we're going here? That's what action means. That's what karma means. It means you've chosen it. It's hell because you've chosen it. You went down that direction. So be honest with yourself. Do you want to succeed or don't you? Just because it's the 4th of July, for my American viewers, you can rejoice in the fact, I for one rejoice in the fact that everybody around me being a fat ass and loving to pig out, that's the one thing I don't want to do on July 4th. I hate the fact that I'm looking around me and I'm seeing all these annoying fireworks and people doing nothing but splurging on ice cream. I watch it and then everybody else, of course they're going to do that every day too, but they're going to do it even worse on holidays. So what's the tip I'm going to leave with you today? The tip is this: to control yourself this 4th of July, in addition to all the other value I've given you in this video, hopefully given you, what you can do right now to control yourself today and tomorrow and going forward, you don't have to do any of the other tips I give on this channel. Just say when you eat, am I going to be able to comfortably digest this within 2 hours? Whatever amount you want to eat, whatever it is you want to eat, can you digest it comfortably within 2 hours? Have a good day. Have a good 4th of July.